She's a homemaker, don't you know? She'll teach you how to cook and sew, and how to wield a hammer. It's the June the Homemaker Show.
Hello and welcome to the June the Homemaker Show. I'm your host, June the Homemaker, and today on June the Homemaker, we are going to be making a white sauce, like a pasta sauce, like an Italian sauce. You need like some milk and some cheese and like a crap ton of spices, some butter and some flour. The first thing I'm going to do is cut up some garlic. Oh, how bizarre. This garlic is like the gift that keeps on giving. It like has all these little tiny cloves. Oh my god, tiny clove. And then you'll pick up the tiny clove and then it'll be like, oh, just kidding, actually I have 2 cloves. See, look, that just happened with this one. It's actually 2 cloves. Are there any more? Oh, it's actually 3 cloves. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I keep saying that lately, and Mom the Homemaker rolls her eyes at me a lot. You can see that I've already grated the mozzarella cheese. Do you guys know how to grate cheese? I have a little more faith in you than that. You take the cheese, and then you like rub it on the thing, and then it's grated. Look at that. Look at all that. It's so full. It's also really sunshiny. Oh. Oh. Whoa, this garlic juice is like leaking on me. Now I have a crap ton of garlic. A crap ton is a measurement. We've been over this before, and that is the amount of garlic that I have. Now that I've taken care of the garlic and grated the cheese, we are going to move over to the stove so that we can get to the cooking type time. The first step is to put some milk in a pan. So I'm gonna, oh, hello. This is gonna be like a couple of cups of milk, I guess. And I'm using our non-stick pan because that makes me the happiest. Also, I'm using not skim milk. Some recipes will tell you to like saute the garlic in butter first. I don't do that because I prefer the taste of fresh garlic to the taste of roasted garlic, but if you are not like me, then maybe you will want some other kind. Then we are going to bring the milk to like a bubbling type time. Don't you love how specific I am? Basically, you want to cook the milk until it boils, but not until it's burned to your pan. Heat it up kind of slowly. This might like be the amount of time that takes a while. Sometimes I just put my hand over it to see if it's warming up, which is probably not the safest thing to do. Sometimes you just gotta take those chances, you know? Sometimes you just gotta jump off the cliff. When life says, go 20 miles an hour and get a muffin, go 60 miles an hour and get $1 million. What are you gonna do? You just gotta hold your hand over a boiling thing of milk. Was that a bit of a mixed metaphor? I was having, oh, there was garlic on my hand. I'll make sure it's not congealing on the bottom because the bottom will be the hottest part of the pan. But you also don't want to stir it too much because if you stir it too much then it displaces all the heat and then it won't heat up and boil and stuff like that. It'll take it like way longer to boil if you're like constantly stirring it. But if you don't stir it enough then it'll stick. It's a delicate balance. It's like walking a tightrope. Milk smells really weird when it's cooking. I mean, this sauce is going to be amazing, but milk does smell weird. I saw an almost bubble. Steaming, steaming, bubbling over, bubbling over. Oh yeah, now we're getting there. Now we're cooking. I mean, I guess technically we've been cooking the entire time. I think that is about 2 cups of milk, maybe 2.5. Generally I put in like a tablespoon of butter for every cup of milk. I take it back, I'm putting in 3 tablespoons of butter just because that looked more right. And it is definitely boiling. And watch out when you put the butter in because it might splash the boiling milk on you. So now that this is like bubbling significantly, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I'm also going to put in some garlic. And by some garlic, I mean all of the garlic. What is the substance that is in garlic that is wet? Is it like an oil or something? Because it just feels like, I don't know. It feels like what I imagine blood would feel like. If you like leave it sitting there for a while, it seems to congeal and be like sticky. Does anybody know what it actually is? Because I don't know what it actually is. I'm just going to call it garlic blood from now on, and then everyone will be sufficiently creeped out. It's also important to turn it down during this part, because if you have to take a couple seconds and like put some spices in, then you don't want it to be cooking to the bottom of the pan. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Now comes the rest of the spicing. Since we're putting this in an Italian style thing, I'm going to put a lot of Italian spices in it. You should know that whatever spices you put in here, you have to put in like a crap ton of them. Because in order to thicken the sauce, we're going to be putting in some flour, which unreasonably deadens the spices. This is thyme. These are Italian spices. Here goes the fennel. Here is some oregano. I always put in a little bit of white pepper because it just gives it like a little bit of zing, but not a ton of zing. And some red pepper flakes. And here goes the adobo. Now to thicken it, I'm going to be putting in some flour and some cheese. The sauce needs to be hot enough to be melting the cheese to make it be a part of the sauce, but not so hot that it's going to like burn everything. Instructions for flour are not a ton. So I'm going to put in maybe a few tablespoons, shake it around, distribute it pretty evenly, because it's liable to clump. Liable? As you're stirring, you'll see that all the spices will want to clump and congeal with the butter at the top of the sauce. Ow. And don't stir it so hard that you get boiling stuff on you. Now I'm going to start adding the cheese. Add the cheese a little bit at a time, add a little clump, and then when it is melted and absorbed as a part of the sauce, then add some more cheese. You don't want to add crap tons of cheese at once, because then you're trying to deal with melting a giant hunk of cheese, and that is not any fun. It's just not a good idea. And at this point, you really do want to keep stirring the entire time. Blah! 6 ounces of mozzarella cheese. Just keep stirring it for a while, because even if it looks like all the cheese has absorbed, the cheese can be hiding in there. Because we want them to all melt completely to make a smooth sauce. Now, since all the cheese seems to be absorbed and it's still not as thick as I would like it to be, I'm going to put in a little bit more flour. At this point, get a spoon and taste how the sauce is, and then see if we need to do any more spicing. That's really, really good. I think it needs more basil. I also think it needs more garlic, but I'm not going to use fresh garlic. I'm going to put in some of the dried minced garlic. Now I've turned it all the way down to low so that it can sit there for a while if we need it to. Yep, that tastes right to me. What I'm going to do is leave this here on the stove while I make the rest of what I'm making. So this is what the sauce looks like when it's done.
So delicious and viscous and deliciously viscous.
So this has been your basic white sauce tutorial. So let's just go over what we did. We boiled milk, we added butter, we added a crap ton of spices, we put in mozzarella cheese and some flour to thicken it up. And then it was done. Remember not to burn your milk and to stir a ton and to always spread out your flour. So, this is June the Homemaker, and we now know how to make white sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter and friend me on Facebook. And check out my second channel for outtakes and other things from this episode that maybe you didn't see. And that's it. So, have a lovely day.